Welcome. I'm going to get started. I'm finally getting started. Welcome to the Story Coaching Pop-Up Event. This is going to be really fun. One of you is going to get in the hot seat today and be audited live by me. This is sort of a new thing for me. This is all the things that I've been doing in my business, kind of wrapped into one sort of offering. And honestly, the thing that I've seen with my clients is it's been really nice to work with them one-on-one for usually about 6 to 8 weeks, right? And it's a great fun time, but then I leave them and then they're kind of left to their own devices. And so that's where this story coaching offering is coming from, is I'm realizing that people need a longer term inspiration, accountability, understanding, learning. When you're a business owner and you have to show up all the time, no matter who you are, we all mostly have to show up all the time online now. We're constantly pitching ourselves. And so I just realized that people need that kind of accountability, and that's where this comes from. So I know you're anxious to get to the auditing. There's just some stuff I need to talk about first in order for everyone to kind of understand what the language I'm using when I am working with people and when I'm auditing someone. And really today, it's like, if you're here, you probably have sort of a complicated relationship with your story, right? We have our identities of who we are and we know who we are, but everybody gets a little bit twitchy, queasy, whatever, when they have to talk about themselves. And because we, like I said, we have to talk about ourselves all the time in this world that we live in. It's just like, sometimes it gets exhausting, and then you fumble, and then you just kind of say like, oh, here's the last project I worked on, because you don't have like a cohesive pitch. So that is what I love to help people with, is having this cohesive pitch, a great story, presenting the true you that feels effortless and authentic. So you can have this go-to cheat sheet story about yourself. So in order to keep showing up in your mind. Hi, Suze. How's it going? Welcome. Oh, now you're muted.
Hi, I made it.
Yay, you're here.
I had to register a different email.
So I know. I'm so sorry. That was so funny, but I'm glad you made it. Hi, Kristen. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So I reached out to all of y'all with an email, and I kind of said, like, what's your struggle, right? And so all of these things to me do have something in common, but what I heard was the elevator pitch, right? Like quickly communicating who you are, really quickly, why it's unique, why it's valuable. Obviously, we're talking travel retreat, that would be Sherry. Struggle communicating with clarity, the unique integration of multiple services that we do. Is somewhat, I feel like I'm getting a little echoey. Is anybody else hearing that? No. Go on, we'll just all go on mute until it's showtime with the, thank you. Okay. So, right, communicating with clarity, the unique integration of multiple services, like, all of us, if you're a business owner, we all work with different types of people, and it's super hard to say like, okay, I'm this one thing. How do I serve multiple audiences? And that is a totally common problem, and it could definitely help with that. That's what having a unifying story helps with. Someone said, I think it's that I don't have a story. What I tell my clients is it's all about you. We customize our approach to each client, not a one size fits all approach. I see other agents where it's clear what their story is. I don't really see it for me. So no story is my struggle. Well, this person is doing something right, which is, it definitely is about the clients. It definitely is about them. What I'm hearing is when it comes to their pitch, what's unique about this person, it's like throwing your hands up in there. You're not really sure. Again, we're going to get to that. So this is really important. This is like at the crux of my work, is when someone knows your story, then they know you. And like, why is that important that they know you? I had sort of a video this week where I talked about our brands are an extension of ourselves. If you think about literally any brand, one of my favorite go-to references for this is Richard Branson, because we all know that Richard Branson isn't Virgin, right, as a brand. But we do know that a lot of the qualities that he brings forth and the things that make him great, like his risk taking and just this bravado and travel, become integrated into the Virgin brand, right? And people who know you are going to identify with you, and they're going to buy from you, and they want to work with you. Okay. So that's why we want to show up as ourselves. We want to like present ourselves. it's a little hinge on personal branding. But to me, I want to make sure that you have this story intact first before you get overwhelmed with this big idea of a personal brand. So to get people to buy from you, to get people to work with you, to be confident in your pitch, you need this great story, because it's all about connection. Like sales is about connecting with other people. Branding is about connecting with other people. And your business is thriving on the connections that you make. It's the connection that will grow your business. So again, the trick is, like, in order to connect with people, this brand has to be authentic. And I think we all inherently know this. We know when we see someone online who's just like being false, right? It has to be an extension of you. Like, I've also heard from people like, oh my gosh, it's so weird when I see someone showing up on Instagram and then I meet them and it's a totally different thing. It's incongruent. It makes us not want to trust them. So your brand and your story has to be this true extension of you. Okay, so for me, I like to start with purpose, and I also will encourage you all to start with your purpose, right? My purpose is to help people own their unique power through storytelling, and that is infused into every single thing that I do. So to build on that, that's my purpose. I want you to see your own unique greatness so you can be confident in your story for your business, for yourself. And the way that I do that is really just putting this process on repeat. I have you question the existing narratives. When that comes down to even just the words that you're using in your bio or your about page, I question things that you might have taken on from a corporate role, or like somebody or an old manager said, like, oh, you're good at XYZ. So you kind of took that on, but is it true, right? We're questioning all this stuff that, you might just have thrown into your bio. You might have like thrown into how you present yourself at work, but it's up to you to write this new story. It's up to you to like reclaim it and have your own power. I don't want you to just default take on what other people are saying about you and what they're perceiving about you, right? You need to be in command of this story, and you doing that helps you create the future. I have a client, Anne, and she said like writing her story down helped her get clear on what kind of roles she could pursue, right? It was just the act of going like, what is my story? Okay, I'm writing it. Oh, yeah, I am a TV producer. She was feeling really insecure about not calling herself a TV producer, even though she had a deal with Netflix. So you could see how it can really become your destiny when you write this stuff down. It makes it real. Okay, so how do we do this? I have a formula. We're going to get back to this and we'll delve into this later. I just kind of want to preview this with you so that you can see that there is an easy structure for doing this. It's complicated to talk about yourself, but this is the formula that I use. I call it Story Shop formula. It's your purpose plus the problem you help people solve, and then bringing that to life through your personality. So to give you an example of this formula, right? I help women fully stand in their unique power through their story, helping them feel seen and to see others through their stories, which is really important. Every human wants to feel seen. When you don't feel seen, then you feel like the best kept secret. When you don't feel seen, you feel lonely, right? So that's the huge problem that I help people with. And then I bring that to life through my Seeker Archetype, and we will get into Archetypes. It's a revisitation of Carl Jung's archetypal narratives. So again, this is like my easy go-to cheat sheet. Whenever I need to create something, this is the foundation on which I create my story. And I want the same for you. I just want this easy one page so that you can know this is my purpose in life, and this is how I help people, and this is how I bring it to life. Okay, so I also sent you an email and said, can you take the Arttypes test, the Arttypes assessment? It's a quiz I've developed to help you figure out your Archetypes. So we're going to start backwards with the personality. We're going to start with that because Archetypes is a really easy shorthand for understanding who you are and how to bring those gifts of yours into life. So pop your Archetype into the comments and maybe put a smiley face if you're feeling good about the results that you got in the email, and a sad face or another kind of weird, however you're feeling in emoji form, basically put it in the comments and we'll get back to that. Rory is guardian, Shari is seeker. And Rory had mentioned to me in the email too that she was a little confused because the first time she took the test, she showed up as guardian for her personal life, and then she also showed up for it as in her work life, and was wondering if that was an issue. And we will get to that. It's not an issue, and it's actually, I think, probably really aligned with what you do and how you're working right now. Kristen is the sage, Carissa guardian, and Erin creative. Yay, creative. Okay, cool. I'm gonna actually, yeah, we got that down. Okay. So we have these 12 archetypes, and you're like, you've been exposed to this content. Rory, I know you're a little bit more familiar because you've been in a previous workshop with Lisa about this material. For everybody else, you probably haven't seen all of the 12, right? There's optimist, the seeker, the sage, the mystic, rebel, champion, lover, star, every person, guardian, royal, and creative. So this is 12 ways to sort of describe the personality and character of who you are. And 100 years ago, Carl Jung, who's a personality psychologist, he also invented introversion and extroversion, or put a name on it, let's say. So he's like the white guy who like puts the label on the thing, right? So these archetypes and different types of archetypes have existed for a long time. But he was like, I see these things happening, I'm going to put labels on them. And so because he put labels on them, he was famous, he wrote this thing, right? It was like, great. And so when we use them for personal branding and branding purposes and storytelling purposes, it helps us go, oh, this is the role that I play in the world. And this is how I want to express myself in the world. And we all jump in and out of archetypes in our lives. And, you know, Rory, I think that's an example for you, is like, a lot of us are parents, so we are going to be a guardian in our home life. Are we going to be that in work too, right? So we'll talk about that. But these archetypes, I've been working with this content for years. And when I went online, I would see that there was just all this like outdated representations of these stories, right? Like even the names themselves were a little bit strange to me. So like we had the word innocent typically, and innocent to me just feels like there's a naivety around it. There's a stereotypical femininity around it, right? Like there's explorer. Explorer feels a little bit like Christopher Columbus baggage, right? So like let's relabel that the seeker. We have the sage, kept that label. The magician just kind of feels like a guy in a top hat. So that's the mystic, and that's, you know, reinterpreted for today's sort of like renewed interest in spirituality. The outlaw is now the rebel, because I feel like outlaw is like, let's draw a gun and have a duel, right? The hero, I think the hero has its like way too much baggage. So rename that the champion. The lover is the lover. The jester, well, I never had a client who wants to be the jester. No, everybody kind of thinks of it as a fool, right? So I labeled that star. We have every man, clear gender issues going on there. So every person, the caregiver, skewed a little bit too feminine into the guardian. And quick aside, I just convinced like an all white male architecture firm that they were the guardian. And I don't think I could have done that with that if I would have called it the caregiver. So I'm kind of excited about that. And then we have the ruler, which I've relabeled the royal, and then the creator is the creative. So again, I've taken a look at these narratives and said, like, I think this needs to be revisited for the modern era. And not to knock all the material that is out there. And I don't even remember the name of where I grabbed this from, but this is what exists right now on the internet. So you can see, even though it's not like totally outdated, it feels really stereotypical, right? We have a caregiver who's like a veterinarian assistant with a kitty cat, right? And it's a woman. And then we have the everyman, right? It's just like this cool white guy, right? Or the ruler, and it's just like a guy with a huge suit on. And the sage, of course, is like this white man with the beard. And I know that we can do better than this. So keep these in mind: the caregiver, everyman, sage, and ruler. So how I've evolved these is by taking different representations of that, right? So the caregiver, this top left quadrant, is now guardian. So you can see that there's different types of guardians, not just like this stereotypical sort of like feminine, like a young woman holding a cat, right? Like there are, if you think about like Hagrid in Harry Potter, if you're a Harry Potter fan, he was a guardian of all the animals, right? And he was really bringing that to life in such a nice way. Jane Goodall, she's a caregiver, like she's a guardian of the planet, right? She's really involved with that. And then we have our everyman, which is every person. You can just see in different ways the different people that are represented here. And that I wanted so badly to have like a Black girl next door, because I don't think most people think of like a Black person when they think of girl next door, right? So let's question that. This lower left is the sage quadrant. So these are people who are, you know, scientist, interested in knowledge, interested in truth, etc. And then we have the bottom right, which is the royal, which used to be the ruler, right? I want to just move away from the Godfather. I want this to be, yes, RuPaul, definitely. In this picture, I think it's cropped out, but RuPaul has like a scepter that they're holding in this picture, right? So it's like, you can see how we can develop these narratives and evolve them. And I kind of want the same for you. Like I said, I've also revised sort of like what the taglines of all of these are, so you can kind of see yourself in all of these 12, just again, showing you how we can sort of keep evolving the narrative. Another layer to put on is a core desire. And so the core desire is what you crave more than anything in this life, what you really deep down are here on this planet for. And again, just like the archetypes, we jump in and out of these desires in different parts of our life, and that's totally fine. The way to weigh it is to kind of go like, okay, like if I couldn't, for me, I'm a seeker, if I couldn't keep yearning for this ideal world, then I would like crumble, right? So I know like, yes, I sometimes can provide structure, and yes, I like being at a party, and yes, I like have my ego and I want to leave a mark, but really to me, it's all about going on this continuous journey. So I know that I'm in that quadrant. Again, questioning all the words. That's one thing I want you all to take away. If you take away like a little bit of homework today, I would like you to look at your current bio and see which words are just kind of like, where did I get that word from? Just take like one word and be like, wait, instead of calling, myself like, I don't know, like, let's say, like a hero, let's call ourselves a champion, right? Like, instead of saying like exotic, there's a little bit of baggage there. Let's say like global. Just again, just showing you sort of how this can come to life. Okay, so I want you to actually do a quick exercise on your own. I want you to think about your core desires and to look at these 4 and rank them. You're probably going to have a gut response to one of them that feels like, oh, I think it's this, but sometimes I'm this, right? I want you to kind of think about this guiding force in your life. If you're called to one of these, then that's a huge signal that you should be in a certain quadrant, right? And that you probably, if you're a seeker, then you're all about yearning for this ideal. Creative might be about structure, but I don't want you to think about that yet. I just want you to think about these desires, because this is going to help you narrow down what your archetype is. Okay, so everybody's taking a few seconds. I can also send this as a follow-up, but again, this is like a great exercise to kind of go like, okay, what's most important to me in my life? Like, what's really driving me? I think that's what's great about Arttypes as a tool, is that I don't want to pin you down in a certain way, but I want to give you a guiding force, right? I want you to help you question the labels of your identity, the labels of who you are, and giving you the power to define yourself as you choose. Like, Arttypes is not like a horoscope. It's not like you're born under the sign and that's it. It's like, oh, you know what? I actually think in this part of my business, this is who I am. And this is who I need to be. And I can step into that, and I can get this reminder and this mindset every day to step into that. Like for me, sometimes, even though I'm the seeker, sometimes I'll listen. I have playlists set up for this as well. And sometimes I'll listen to the champion playlist to get myself hyped up for a meeting, because it's all like gym jams and like strength. And it's all about being, like heroic and being as powerful as I can be. So this is all about just like having the mindset to define yourself as you choose. And again, obviously it's clear by now, I feel like, that the words we use to tell our stories matter. I am a writer by background, and it's so important that I feel like even just down to every individual word choice, down to the way you see yourself, questioning the stories. I want you to question your story, and then I want you to share it, because all of you being women, you're part of changing traditional narratives by reclaiming your own story. Just by being sort of a minority, right? Just by being a woman, you're part of changing the traditional narrative of success. When we say success, when we say hero, when we say ruler, it's usually a man that comes into someone's head, right? So you showing up as yourself is part of this change. Again, so this is like the first time I've done this presentation in this flow. So I'm going to go back again to this formula. I got this purpose, problem, and personality formula. And really, again, this is a lot of work, and this takes time. And this is part of also why I've created, a coaching program that goes on for a little while, because it takes time for you to define what your purpose is. But I want you to know it's already there, and it's already weaving through all the work that you do. A hard part is the problem, acknowledging your audience and like what really deep pain are they going through, and how can you use your purpose to help solve that problem for them. And then it's the personality, which I do through Arttypes, right? Like bringing the best parts of yourself forward to make it all happen, to be consistent, to be trusted, to be you. So the purpose is like, what do you want out of life? What drives you? The problem is, how can your purpose help the people you serve and solve their unique problems? And then the personality is being you on repeat with confidence, being like, yep, I'm the seeker. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to wear. This is how I'm going to tell my story. These are the words I get to choose. I want to show you a little bit about the future. Some of my past clients, I just love like that I've been able to help people bring clarity and bring who they are to their work. So this is Kristen. She's an interior designer in the DC area. She had a fine website, but it really just had like a typical bio, like, I have 20 years of experience as an interior designer. I live in the DC area. I have 3 girls, et cetera, et cetera. And when we really realized, when I worked with her and we brought out her Ourtype, which was Champion, we came up with this idea that great design is brave, and that she has to be sort of brave for her clients to spend all this money on making a beautiful new home. It's a big risk to take $100,000 or whatever. She works with very high-end clients and transform their home. And she has to be that trustworthy person. So she has to be the one who makes the brave choices for people, because they're going to live with them a long time. She said, putting all the pieces of my story together was phenomenal. I now have the tools and resources I need to move my brand forward with the utmost confidence. And then there's Anne. Anne is the TV producer I mentioned earlier with Netflix. With her, it was really hard. She knew that she had this rebellious side. She's a creative and a rebel together, but she was a little bit afraid to bring forward that side of her rebel. And her husband even said to her, I don't know if you want to write mischief in your bio, because I don't know if people want to work with someone who's mischievous. And I convinced her. I was like, you have to be that. That's in everything that you do, and you are the rebel. So let's bring that forward. So again, it was just like, it's just a couple words that we weaved into her bio. It's a couple words, but it helps reframe how she sees herself in the world. Anne said she uses a simple, clear formula. That's the story formula: the purpose, problem, personality, to help you connect your greater purpose and yourself. I feel less like I'm selling myself and more like I'm actually describing my work and ambitions with passion and purpose. And then there's Caitlin. Caitlin is like so amazing. She's a doctorate, and she is a CEO of a butcher shop. That's her and her husband running the butcher shop in Buffalo, New York. She was just having problems like trying to ramp up. She's like, everybody's always like, she was like embarrassed by the fact that she was a doctoral in architectural history combined with a butcher shop owner. And I was like, oh my God, that's what makes you so amazing. Like, is this weird combination? Like, are you kidding? So that's what we really just like wove into her story, is like, I can safely say I'm the only doctorate of architectural history also owns a butcher shop, right? So then she goes into what the connection is. She's also a seeker, by the way, Sherry. I have also always felt undefinable professionally, and Colleen helped me embrace and relate all of myself beautifully. So this is what I want for everybody here, right? I want you all to feel the same, that you have this sort of like confident story, and that you can just put it on replay, that, and not only the story itself, but also like embracing the mindset of who you are. All right, so it's 12:50. I want to keep this good stuff going. Sherry, did you have any questions? I realized I didn't ask you. Was there anything else that you wanted to ask while we're here together?
No, I don't think so. Super
Okay.
helpful.
Sorry, should have asked that earlier. Okay, so this program, I want to keep the good going. The program that I'm running is called Your Wild and Precious Life. It's a story coaching program. It's going to be, some of the stuff all the stuff that we talked about today. And again, continually giving you the tools and teaching you like how to do this stuff. It's based on the Mary Oliver poem, The Summer Day, which ends, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Everything that you're doing as a business owner, and I know that you want to express and live your life with purpose. And that's also what this poem is about, right? This is not just like, I think this last line can be almost like taken out of context and been like a capitalist challenge a little bit has been co-opted to feel that way. But it really is more about like, hey, we have one life. Like everything's gonna die. Life is too short to not live a career and a brand and a story and a life that doesn't have purpose. So that's what I want for you, is to be able to do that. I want you to, in this story coaching program, it's going to be creative and business growth with continuous coaching sessions. My coaching is strategy and implementation combined. So I do want to like give you and pick into the words and that you're using, because I love doing that, because I'm a writer and I want to help give you those go-to words. But I also, again, strategically want you to think about where the business is going, where you're going. Is this right for you? Is this feeling right for you? And that strategy and that mindset work. Also, it's going to be ongoing group sessions so that all of you can learn from each other and get the support that you need. And, you know, maybe you don't have a amazing experience resort in Mexico, but I think hopefully you could learn from someone else who does, right? And then it's going to be tools, inspiration, support, just all the stuff. I have so much stuff. I have so much content. I just give you all that supportive content all the time and help follow up and make sure you're keeping on track and being able to bring and live this continuous story for yourself. So this work, it's like, I really feel this pretty strongly. You can hire someone else or a copywriter or a social media person to do your social media, whatever that is. But unless you really work on that strategic base of the story, you're going to continue to feel like a discord between where you are, where you want to be. It's still going to take you too much time to make social media. You're still not going to reach the ideal right customer. You're going to like be embarrassed about your website. Like I don't want that for you. And I've seen it with other people who just put this work on hold. I want you to be seen for the amazing person you are. Like that's part of my purpose, right? I want you to be working on your business, which is a hard thing to do because we all have really busy lives. And I want you to feel really good about it. Again, like you can hire a one-off person to run your social, but it's not going to fix the problem. I want to help you teach you how to fish. I don't want to just like catch the fish for you, give you one dinner and be done. And there's other people who can do that. But this is more about building a skill set for you and a mindset shift that's going to help you with your entire career, or even like building a next business 20 years from now. So what's in this program? Again, it's like these monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with me, 60 minutes each. I will send you notes. I'll send you follow-up notes. Of course, monthly live sessions, and then custom personalized writing storytelling tips, like aligning with your Arttypes blend. Like at the end, I want you to just feel like, oh my gosh, I have everything that I need. I don't need Colleen anymore. That's what I want you to feel at the end of this, right? I want to give you weekly mindset, self-storytelling, personal presence videos every week. It's going to be a lot of stuff, plus more stuff. I think I just obviously put too much here, right? Like I have these musical playlists. I have like word choices. I have all this stuff. I have it all, whoopsie, in a portal. Oh dear. What have I done? I have it all in a portal so you can access it. So it's not just like, oh my God, where was that email? I also have the courses. I have Storycraft course. I have how to name your business if you're looking to name your business. And anything else that I put into the portal, you will have access to. I have a guidebook that's an Arttypes guidebook. That's an 80-page guidebook you can use for your self-storytelling. And then again, this is going 5 months. Again, I just found that people need a little bit more time to be able to really soak this stuff in and to really have the confident mindset that you need to keep living your story. I want to have effortless storytelling being a habit. I'm not trying to turn you into a writer. I'm just trying to turn you into someone who can confidently create and feel good about what you're putting out there and sharing your unique gifts. Like I want you to like think about the mindset, like when you started, Sherry, all of you, when you all started your business, I know that you started it for a reason and you were like, yeah, I don't want to work for anybody else. Like I want to do this, right? Thanks for coming. It's been lovely to see your beautiful faces and talk to you soon.